Hey everyone, and welcome back to another financial check-in. It is the last day of the month today, February 28th. So in this video, I'll be reviewing our finances for the month of February. If you're new here, my name is Amanda and I make videos documenting our journey to reach financial independence. And to sort of give you a quick summary of what I'll be discussing today, we'll first go over our February cash flow, and then we'll update our monthly balance sheet on our Google Sheet. And then at the end, I will share a free Google Sheet template that many of you have been asking for in my last check-in video. So I'll share a quick tutorial at the end on how to use it. All right, so let's get started. Heading on over to Monarch here. This is our cash flow page for the month of February. I really like this Sankey diagram. It gives you like a pretty good visualization of how much money is coming in, where it's going. And you can sort of see relatively in terms of the size of the blocks, how much money you're saving and spending compared to your other categories. In terms of income this month, we made a total of $12,619. So 96% of that is our salary income. And then about 63% comes from Charles's paycheck, my husband's paycheck. And then 33% comes from my paycheck. And then the rest is just non-salary income. So the interest is from our high yield savings account. And then the reimbursement amount here is just cash reimbursements from my company benefits. All right, so let's move on to the spending here on the right. So our top spending category or group this month was our guilt-free spending. It usually is. We spent most of that on our pets, shopping, and entertainment, and some gifts. I think that was for Valentine's Day. But yeah, our pets, we spent quite a bit here. We ended up going to San Francisco for a birthday, so we had to pay about $200 for boarding for about 3 days. And then in terms of shopping, we bought some clothes and some new shoes. The next group here is food. We spent a total of $1,396. We usually try to keep this category below $1,000, but we spent a little bit more since we did end up going out to some expensive restaurants when we were visiting our friends. Our dining category is almost at $1,000 here, and we spent about $500 for groceries. And then our next biggest group category is our monthly bills. These are our typical monthly bills. So the first one here is our HOA, and then electricity. You can see electricity is quite high at $352. It was pretty cold this past month, so we ended up using the heater quite a bit. And then our internet, 200, subscriptions, 170, and then our phone bill. Our next group category is car and home. So we ended up spending about $155 on household essentials, $134 on gas and transportation. So that also includes Uber car rides and then train tickets as well. And then our last section here is taxes and fees. I did have to file our 2024 taxes recently. I use Free Tax USA. Filing federal tax is free on that website, but filing state tax is about, I think, $15. That entire process of filing on Free Tax USA was actually pretty easy. I thought it was going to be a lot harder since we normally have an accountant do our taxes, but this year we decided to do our own taxes and it wasn't too bad. So I think we'll probably just do our own taxes going forward. I know that this taxes and fees category is going to be pretty high next month since we do have to pay our property tax, but luckily we'll have some incoming money from our tax refund next month as well. So hopefully that offsets it a little bit. All right, so in terms of cash flow, a total of $13,123 came in for the month of February. We spent a total of $4,755. So then our total net income comes to about $8,336, which is about a 63.8% savings rate, which is pretty high compared to last month. If I go to last month, our savings rate was about 52.8%. So our savings rate this month is a lot higher at almost 64%. I feel like we did pretty well intentionally spending a bit less. I mean, if we really didn't want to spend anything, we probably wouldn't have gone shopping, or we wouldn't have visited our friends to pay for boarding. But yeah, this month we didn't have any unexpected expenses, which is great, always great. I do not want unexpected expenses. Usually it fluctuates quite a bit from month to month, depending on anything that happens. We generally try to keep it under 6,000, and we were able to do that this month. Okay, so if we go to our accounts page on Monarch, you can see that our net worth went up. Well, actually it didn't go up because at the end of January, we were at $604,000, but now we're at $599. This one's just calculating within the last 30 days since, yeah, it's comparing January 28th to February 28th, so 30 days. Yeah, technically speaking, for the month of February, we did go down. In terms of credit card spending, we do pay our credit cards off every month, so this month, this number will always be there since all our spending is on our credit cards. And then our investments went down 0.9%. This is likely due to the stock market going down a little bit. And then our, I think, cryptocurrency, our Bitcoin did go down quite a lot this month as well. I'll probably show you a little bit better on our Google Sheet. And then our cash went up about 5K. So in total, we technically went down a little compared to the end of January. And then we also have our home value that we don't add to our net worth, but it has also gone down about 51K. So yeah, everything's just a little down this month, which is perfectly normal. Monarch doesn't necessarily reflect all of our current balances, and sometimes our banks take time to update, and then for that to update in Monarch. So we also track our spending on a Google Sheet. All right, so this is our monthly balance Google Sheet, also known as our net worth tracker, I guess. My husband and I have already inputted our account balances in our individual spreadsheet tabs at the bottom here. The combined tab will show our combined values for all of our accounts. And for the month of February, our cash ended with $115,486. So that went up about 6K here. And our retirement fund ended with $396,334. And this went down about 6K, most likely due to the markets. But we are contributing consistently every month through our 401k. My husband recently opened a HSA account with his company since they're now offering HSA accounts. So now we have an additional retirement account that we can start contributing to. For our taxable accounts, we ended with $67,045. That's up about $1,000. We are also contributing monthly to these accounts. I think I contribute around like $1,500 a month, and then my husband contributes around like $2,000. But for next month, going forward, I'm gonna be contributing $2,000 every month. So I'm gonna start increasing my contributions. And then for crypto, our last category here went down to $31,260, and that is because Bitcoin specifically has crashed, I think over 17% or so. Our total for the month of February is $610,126, and this doesn't include our credit card balance, but in terms of just all of our account balances, it's 610. Our net worth went down about 1%, which is $6,075. You can see in our asset allocation now that our cash is sitting at 18.9%, our retirement funds are sitting at 65%, taxable accounts at 11%, and our crypto is now 5% of our portfolio. Just going back to the numbers on the balance sheet here, this is also the first time in over a year that our balance has gone down in the red. The last time was in September of 2023. We went down about $1,000. It's been over a year since we've seen that red again, but that's completely normal, completely fine. That's just how the market goes up and down. It will always fluctuate. And all we can really do is continue investing to grow our wealth. All right, so as promised, I created a net worth template tracker here of basically what we have on our financial assets. I sort of cleaned it up a little bit so that it was a little bit more usable. In the description down below, you can see a link to this Google Sheet here. When you open it, all you want to do is click on File and make a copy, and then save that to your Google Drive. And once you have a copy here, I've put in some sample data just so you can see what the graphs will look like with data. Yeah, you can just go ahead and remove the data here and fill in your own. Basically how this tracker works, it's pretty straightforward, where every column is basically just an account that you have. And so you can just rename it to whatever you like. And if you need to add more columns, feel free to just unhide these columns here and then add and hide whatever columns you need, and it will still total the entire row with these columns. But if you ever need to add more, just feel free to add a row to the left of the last column and the formula should still work. If you want to continue using it on for years, feel free to unhide these rows here as well and use them as needed. If you do end up adding more accounts though, you'll just probably have to edit the account allocation graph here. You might need to add more to the legend. So just keep that in mind. It's pretty simple. You can just double click on here and I think you just go to the setup process and then add another series. And then on the right hand side here is sort of the year-over-year balance. I've automatically plugged it in so that it takes in the last total from each year, and then you can see the change over time. So if let's say if I replicate some data here, you can see the change over time, either if it went up or down. And then I've also added salary and your bonus. If you want to track that as well, you don't have to, feel free to delete them as needed. And then let's say you have a partner that also wants to track their own account separately. It's totally up to you if you want to do it separately or on the same sheet. But in case your setup is similar to ours, where your partner has a separate sheet and then you just want to combine them, feel free to just duplicate this sheet and then they can enter their account values. And then you can use this combined spreadsheet to sum both of the spreadsheet tabs together. So you might have to customize it a little bit, but if you need any help, feel free to email me. I'll link my email in the description down below. This spreadsheet tab already populates the totals. You might need to configure the formula a little bit here. On the right hand side here, it's similar to the account allocation, but it's just the combined assets. And if you want the pie graph to populate and change every month, you will need to adjust these cells here. Basically, they just match up whatever the most recent values are. Keep in mind, this is manual, it's not automatic. So every month you'll have to go in and change it. So let's say you enter in details here. Let's just put 5,000 for all of them. So as you can see, the chart here didn't update. So you'll want to double click and then just change it to the next row down. So right now it's B13, just change it to B14 and then same for the rest. And that should update the pie graph. And then similar to the monthly balance sheet, there's also an end of year balance over time and gross income if you want to track that. Hopefully this Google Sheet is helpful for you and it sort of kickstarts your financial journey if you haven't started already, or if you already have. Hopefully this helps track your monthly balances regularly. If you do not prefer to use a paid app, we use this together with Monarch. Monarch mainly just to track our expenses and then this to track our account balances. Monarch can do all of it. It's just at the end of every month, I just want the exact number in my account. So that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. Feel free to subscribe if you want to follow along in my journey. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Did your portfolio go up or go down this month? And if you don't know, feel free to download the Google Sheet so that you can start tracking. If you want to see my previous video from last month's check-in, click this video here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.